going into Sunday's match, I was excited and nervous at the same time. Excited because it was a big match, a high-profile match, away against Man City. The stakes are high. It's a big chance to extend the lead at the top of the table, especially after that surprise West Ham victory away at Arsenal the day prior. But at the same time, nervous because this is away at Man City after all. And despite their well-documented difficulties this season, they are still a strong team. There's still a lot of talent in the team. And if Liverpool let their guard down, Man City is capable of causing a lot of damage. The first surprise of the day came even before the match started, which was that Haaland was not included in the matchday squad. He's not playing. He's not on the bench. So even just looking at that, it felt like a bit of a plus point. And as the match progressed, Liverpool got the 2 goals in the first half. And from there, it felt like sort of just defending compactly, keeping Man City at arm's length. And despite the sort of nervousness and the racing blood and the heart pounding during the match itself, looking back, it looks like Man City never really created anything particularly noteworthy, any kind of really big chances throughout the match, except for that one goal which was ruled out for offside. Again, of course, at the time, as I was watching that match, there was always that feeling in the back of my mind that even just a moment's carelessness could allow Man City back into it, even if Liverpool were 2-0 up at that time. As it were, it's true that that Man City had most of the ball. I think they had something like 66% possession or something like this. Liverpool at 34%. And the numbers are there or thereabouts, so twice the possession that Liverpool had. But Liverpool were in control of themselves with the way they defended, the way they kept their shape, and the way they never really allowed Man City to create anything particularly dangerous in the most dangerous areas. And when I think about it, the two players who I feel were most emblematic of how the two teams played are Doku for Man City and Salah for Liverpool. And here's why I say that. Now, in this match, Doku was very involved for Man City. He was their main attacking outlet. He was very involved on the ball. And in this match, he was turning Alexander-Arnold inside out time and time again. He'd be dribbling this way around him. He'd be dribbling that way past him. He could drop this shoulder and turn that way. He could drop that shoulder and turn this way. His dribbling ability, he had those quick feet. How should I put it? Like twinkle toes, as some would call it. twinkle toes, just very quick feet. The way he could control the ball. He had many different kinds of skill moves, if you're even to call it that. You know, just many different ways of dribbling past Alexander Arnold. He, you know, and he was, and he kept going at it, over and over and over. You know, just just basically running over Alexander Arnold throughout the match. But the thing is, you know, despite you know, despite uh, all the fancy tricks and flicks, and neat spins, and all those dribbling moves that he had, left and right and left, back to front, in a circle or whatever. Despite all of that, and getting past Alexander Arnold time and time again, ultimately there was very little tangible or quantifiable end product. I think he had just that one shot in the second half that Alisson dealt with very comfortably, and I think he had just that one shot and no other shot attempted at all throughout the match, if I remember correctly. So that was sort of like, for all of his dribbling, for all the fancy flicks, for all of how good it looked visually, it didn't really amount to much. Conversely, Salah for Liverpool, he was not as involved on the ball as Doku was, but that's mainly because Man City as a whole, they had twice as much possession as Liverpool did, so that would make sense. But when Salah did have the ball, he made the most of it when he had it. His dribbling, may not have been as fancy looking as Doku's, but when he had it, he dribbled past Guardiola, he dribbled past Ake. The way he got past them, it was just smooth, fluid, efficient, and it was also one of those dribbling runs. The ball was passed to him, dribbled, made a bit of a feint movement, got past Guardiola, and it was on that run, he played the assist for Szoboszlai's goal. And of course, Salah as well had scored the opening goal early in that match, about what, 20 minutes before Szoboszlai's 2-0 goal. So the thing with Salah is, yes, he did not get the ball as much as Doku did, but when he did, he made things happen. He was a danger. It may not have been, the flashiest. It may not have been the most spectacular, but with Salah, it's efficient. It's daily. When he got the ball, he went straight into the heart of Man City's defense. No wasted movement is the point. No wasted movement. Doku had a lot of flashy moves, didn't amount to much. Salah, no wasted movement, just efficient, dagger straight to the heart of the defense. And it showed with his goal, with his assist. And so these, and again, I was saying that these two players, in my opinion, are emblematic of how the two teams played overall. Man City, lots of possession, lots of passing around, but never truly created anything worryingly dangerous. Liverpool, they were efficient. They did what they needed to do. they got the goals, and then they sat back. Conserve energy. Don't need to chase around unnecessarily. Just wait for the right moment. Win the ball back in their half or whatever. Or if Man City, lost possession carelessly, perfect time to strike. Picking the right moments. Efficient, incisive, decisive. A lot of praise has to go to the Liverpool team as a whole for the way they defended. Again, because if they were sloppy or if they were careless, then yes, Man City would have done a lot of damage. But the way they defended together, the way they fought for each other, is a big part of the reason why Man City's threat was anywhere between minimized and nullified. Yes, it's no secret that Alexander-Arnold is not the best defensive fullback, and it was widely expected that Doku would just turn him inside out over and over, which is exactly what happened. But Gravenberch was there to support, to support in defense, help out Alexander-Arnold, make like a 2v1 situation. I think Szoboszlai was there to help at times as well. Salah was there to help at times as well. Whether making a 2v1 or 3v1. And then you also had Konate keeping his position well in that central defense, just behind Alexander-Arnold, so to speak. In a way whereby if Doku got past Alexander-Arnold and started to go inwards towards the center, he gets past the fullback, but then he can't get past the center back, that being Konate. So those few players over there, they had to work really hard for each other, essentially to cover for Alexander-Arnold's defensive deficiencies, and they did that extremely well. Ultimately, this match ended up being a comfortable, professional, efficient 2-0 win. Far more comfortable than I thought it would have been going into the match. And ultimately, where this ends up, this means that Liverpool come out of this weekend 11 points ahead of Arsenal in the league title race. Going into the weekend, the expectations among many people, and myself included, consisted of a rather different projection. Many people, including myself, expected Arsenal to win their home match, and for Liverpool to have a very tough time away at Man City, possibly a draw, even a loss. It could have been a 5-point gap coming out of the weekend. So for it to be an 11-point gap instead, it becomes a massive chance for Liverpool, because it puts this title race much more firmly in their hands. Right now, Liverpool have 11 more games to go, 7 of which are at home. Of those 7, 3 of them will be their next 3 league games. Not consecutively insofar as league game, because there are other competitions to be played in between. But regardless, over the course of the next 3 league games, it is a tremendous chance for Liverpool, to keep putting points on the board, to keep, trying to extend the lead in the table. Of course, on the other side of the equation, it's up to Arsenal to keep pace with their respective matches. And as I understand it, this midweek, there'll be matches going on. Liverpool at home against Newcastle, and Arsenal away against Nottingham Forest. And Nottingham Forest, despite their own recent difficulties, conceding 5 goals away at Bournemouth, conceding 4 goals away at Newcastle, they are still a rather strong defensive unit, and I think Nottingham Forest at home would be a vastly different proposition from the team, from what they are away from home, in the sense of conceding 5 and 4 away from home. And of course, Arsenal also have had documented difficulties with missing attackers, injured attackers as well. So for me personally, I'm thinking and hoping that Arsenal can drop more points and Liverpool can pick up more maximum points. Again, that's just me and my hope. Who knows what will actually happen? But yes, it is a tremendous chance for Liverpool to put more points on the table, put more pressure on Arsenal to increase the gap. Anyway, the matches aside, yet another mention has to go to Mo Salah. I had just looked up the stats briefly. Now Salah has scored 241 goals for Liverpool, moving him tied third all time on Liverpool's goal scorers list. It's absolutely incredible. 30 goals in all competitions for the season already. Okay, and we are just at the end of February, so one more February match. And after that, March, April, and May. So just about 2.5, maybe 3 months of the season to go. Earlier in the season, I had thought that if Salah could reach to this mark of 241, even by the end of the season, it would be a fantastic achievement already. And yet here we are, he has already hit that tally, and there's still the 2.5 months or 3 months of the season to go. There's still 11 league matches to go. There is still a League Cup final to go. There's still at least 2 Champions League games to go, and potentially, fingers crossed, hopefully, more of that to come as well. And given the kind of form that he's been in for the past several months, and the output that he's delivering at, suddenly, it doesn't feel all that far-fetched to think that he could maybe even hit 250 goals, maybe even 255 goals for Liverpool by the end of the season. He's on 241 now. If he even hits 250 by the end of the season, so that's another 9 goals. That would bring him to what? 39 goals for the season, for his season tally. In fact, even with his tally being at what it is now, 241, he has already averaged 30 goals per season for 8 seasons with Liverpool. That is an amazing achievement for a player who is not a centre forward. He is, some call him a right winger, some call it a right-sided inside forward. So for someone who predominantly plays off the right side, and at the same time, someone who by the end of the season is going to be 33 years old, of the 8 seasons that he's had with Liverpool, 3 of them have come after he turned 30 years old. So for him to maintain this level of goal scoring output even at this age in the Premier League is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I think his tally in terms of Premier League terms now, I think he's got something like 182 Premier League goals, I think it is. So he's moving, he's continuing to move in the Premier League charts, and I think the the next player above him should be Aguero on 184. So you really wouldn't bet against Salah overtaking Aguero before the end of the season. And I think after that is Andrew Cole on 187. And again, with his level of output so far this season and the rate in which he's scoring, you also wouldn't bet against Salah overtaking Cole on 187. Those two players are some of the all-time Premier League great strikers, and Salah is putting his name up there, up there amongst those names, right there with the best of them. Absolutely incredible player, and right now, at the forefront, leading the charge on the cutting edge of what could be an incredible season for Liverpool. And fingers crossed that things continue to go well, both for him and the team.